Welcome to the Finisher, a podcast about professional wrestling and all things, well, wrestling. Here are your hosts, Jerry Pickering and Dan Nawrocki.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back to the Finisher. Another weekly podcast here for you, professional wrestling. Dan, how are you doing today, sir? I can't hear you.
Looks like I put the thing the wrong way.
You want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I did a good job. I did a good job of that. So,
That threw me off because it was so quiet. I'm like, what?
what's weird is that I hit the switch, or at least I thought I hit the switch. Apparently, I didn't hit the switch.
It's okay.
So yeah, another great episode coming forth of the Finisher podcast.
Where you can find us, make sure you go check us out on Facebook if you are right now. Yes, where you're watching us, or live on Facebook every week, every Saturday usually, sometimes on a Sunday, sometimes twice on a Sunday if there's a pay-per-view. So check us out, facebook.com/thefinisherpodcast. We're on Twitter and everywhere you want to find us for our actual podcast, which will be up after our live stream here is done. Head over to thefinisherpodcast.com and you can find out all those links right there.
So to answer your question that you may or may not have asked in the final cut, I'm sweating my ass off.
What? Oh, how are you? I gotcha. Open your door, man. Open some window. Open a window.
Open the windows? Yeah, why don't I just open the damn oven and set it on to 220, because that's about where it's at right here.
Is there not a breeze?
I don't know. Breeze ain't gonna help 98 and 99% humidity, motherfucker.
Put your fan on. Go ahead and see how it sounds.
No, I don't. I'm sitting under I think my air is working. Actually, since you mentioned it, it's a very good question. Oh, yeah, okay, it's still there. It works.
It still works. It's still good. It's still good.
It's there. It's there.
Quite a few things going on. We have some results for
yeah, let's do that. I mean, I had that at the very end of the show, but let's get that out of the way.
I was just going through stuff, but we can.
I mean, yeah, it was the last thing we were talking about before we handed there. But yeah, night one of AEW's Fyter Fest, and I'm kind of surprised, actually. I thought in my brain I did a whole lot worse on this.
Yeah, because you're like, I'm in last, ain't I? I'm like, I don't think so. So when I tally it up, I'm like, no, you're not.
In my brain, well, first and foremost, in my brain, you two picked Cody to retain the TNT Championship, and I was the rebel who thought Jake Hager was going to take it away and not get himself suspended and fined.
Nope, that was the opposite.
That was the opposite. And then Zach and I got swerved on MJF and Wardlow. I'm kind of surprised they did the job there, but that's all right. That's all right.
I wasn't surprised. I knew it was going to happen.
Sure you did. How many weeks of Dynamite have you watched again?
A couple.
Yeah, okay. And then to continue the whole thing, as we have another week of both Fyter Fest and the Great American Bash, which we will get to just a second. Hold that thought, please.
We'll get there.
But we also have a change at the top of the Fyter Fest card because, as if you've been following, we'll wrap this all up. We'll wrap topic B and the big story all into one big little ball. We have a very nice segmented sheet here, and then just completely blow it out of the water every time we get it and just talk to whatever naturally comes. But anyway, on top of everything that was already set, the AEW World Championship match between Jon Moxley and Brian Cage not happening. If you haven't heard yet, Moxley's wife Renee Young testing positive for coronavirus, so he's taking some time taking care of her, somehow apparently not getting infected himself. So that one will actually take place a week from this coming Wednesday, July 15th.
An actual pay-per-view, right?
No. Fight for the Fallen will be another episode of Dynamite. I don't know why they back-to-back them that quick.
I would have waited on that.
Yeah, I absolutely would have given it a week or two before we did that and did a whole other theme show, but whatever. In its place, though, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page will defend their tag team championships again.
Say again.
this time against Private Party, who were coming in just as hot as Best Friends were. So we shall see. I'm waiting for a message back. I don't have a pick yet from Zach.
Well, we'll save that pick. We can save the pick until the end.
All right. If we hear from him at the end of the show, we'll announce it. If not, we'll add it in and let you know. But he's already one pick behind us. It's 4-4-3. So
yep.
Here I thought, I know for a fact the dude's been watching every week. I thought he would have a better handle of the programming. I figured he'd be wiping the floor with us, but apparently we're just really good at this game.
Hey, he'll learn one day. He'll become a man.
Get there. Yeah. We'll get there.
I don't even know the guy and give him crap.
I mean, that's the right way to do it.
That's true. That's true.
Let's
get into our big story.
Yeah, let's get into the big story because we said the
Great American Bash.
NXT decided to counter-program Fyter Fest, and it was blatant because they announced Fyter Fest, and it was like the next day, like, we're gonna do the Great American Bash. Take that, Cody.
And then Cody wore a shirt.
Yes,
designed to look like the old Great American Bash font and everything, and just to mock it. I'm guessing, but I'm like, that's great.
Here's the thing, and this needs to be a message to all of management over at WWE. Don't try to be trolls. You are going to lose. You do not know what you're messing with when it comes to the social media team down in Florida. No. Don't do it. Don't try it. You're just going to get burnt. I didn't get a chance. I really wanted to. I wanted to see it, if for nothing else, for the four-way women's match, the strap match that sounded like it was pretty intense and physical.
The women's match, it had a better rating than the entire Fyter Fest.
The actual ratings, the viewership.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over 100 or a couple 100,000 difference.
Okay. Interesting. That may not necessarily because the world title match has been shot. That they have a chance at that, but they may not see as big a viewership spike this week because it was supposed to be the biggest main event in NXT history, and it may be an amazing match, but there doesn't seem to be as much of an incentive to watch now, does it?
Not at all. Not at all. Someone screwed that up.
Yeah, that got spoiled, and since we're better than them, we're not going to tell you what the hell happened. But if you really want to know, the story's out there about who's supposed to win, who wins the champion versus champion match between Adam Cole and Keith Lee. So, is the guy fired yet?
I don't know. I don't know who it was, but they've got to be fired.
They've got to be fired.
They've got to be.
Like it's not necessarily even an old school thing of, well, he didn't keep kayfabe, yada yada yada. Like, who cares? It's just it's going to get out on the internet anyway. No, exactly. That's the point. It wasn't supposed to. It absolutely wasn't supposed to until hand, and you knew it. It wasn't a shock that this whole card was being taped for 2 nights and that this was the main event. Why would you do that?
Because they're stupid.
Because someone is an idiot.
Wednesday, July 1st, NXT versus AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite took a total viewership of 748,000. Let's see. Okay, it wasn't that much, I guess, is what I thought. 792,000.
It's still pretty.
It's still a good up. Let's see. AEW ratings in the 18 to 49 demo they were number 6 with 0.29, and NXT was number 13, 0.22.
So they're winning. They're winning the demo. They're trying to win.
Exactly.
And it's interesting that the WWE, with the program that should be geared towards your millennial fans, is it's slipping.
Yes.
So
I guess, like we said, I think it's going to be a lot lower next week because unless everyone still wants to watch it happen.
I mean,
I still want to watch it happen, even though I know who's going to win it.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to see that match. They have a match that people want to see. we're not quite at the that'll put butts in the seats level of spoiling because you're doing it to yourself. But I will say this, and you may disagree with me or not on this one. If I am Triple H or the rest of the NXT team, we're gonna bin the finish to that match and we're gonna reshoot it because we can.
Change the winner.
Well, we may just be changing the winner up because someone screwed it up. Now, if I'm the winner who then has to come back and reshoot this whole thing
and lose,
I'm gonna be real pissed if I'm me. But I would swerve it. I would absolutely swerve that. You know, we know we can do it.
They got time.
They got the time to do it. Although, but at the same time, if the match is that good, you know, if you can look at it and go, all right, no, it doesn't matter. That match is worth seeing, even if you know the outcome. Then you don't touch it. And knowing the participants, there's a very good possibility they leave it as is because the match is just that good.
The guy who leaked that has got to be.
Not gonna work here anymore.
His knees, he's gonna be shaking like crazy, knowing he's about to lose his job.
Yeah, I would say, and you know what? He may not be fired this week, but
it's gonna happen.
You know, 3 months down the line, he may just be a quiet part of the cuts. You may never see him on television again.
Was it a superstar who leaked it?
Yeah, no, it was a worker who leaked it.
Oh, Jesus.
So, like, how do you not know how? I mean, they say there's reason to believe it was accidental. Like he didn't mean, that he didn't realize it was going out. But man, how out to like everybody? Like if the laymen know that this is how this is going to be set up,
yeah.
How do you, as someone in the company, not understand this is filmed for 2 nights, and maybe, just maybe, the best idea if it's gonna be filmed anyway. And it's not live on a Wednesday night, maybe you shouldn't spoil the end of the television program for somebody. Just a thought.
And if the current person who won and who is now both NXT and the North American champ has to lose, if they're gonna he's gonna be so pissed at that person.
And rightfully so.
There's gonna be some stiff arms on a fight with them, I swear.
And rightfully so. Well, they're not anymore. They'll probably release a statement. But back there should be. That's one of those we were talking about last week when there was a fight backstage. That's one of those where you walk over to somebody and go, "Can I speak to you in the parking lot?" And you deal with the issue out there.
Exactly. But WWE is also, you know, we talked about them winning in the records last week. They're also not happy with somebody over at AEW.
You know, it's kind of strange because the people involved at the head of the company were the people who executed the Monday Night War and would do whatever it took. You know, the person involved in running a brand is the person who went to a WCW event in a freaking tank, essentially. And now one line of a promo has them all hurt and angry.
I have it here if you want me to play it.
If you got that line, may as well share that.
It's well, it's Taz doing a promo on Moxley.
Yes.
So that's what we got going here because Moxley wasn't there because he was at home.
I actually had a nice, healthy conversation earlier today with Tony Khan. And it was interesting. In my conversation with Mr. Khan, you know, I learned that basically you, Mox, that you're concerned for the health and well-being of all the athletes and crew here in AEW. And I find that kind of, like, weird because, correct me if I'm wrong, Mox, but as you're at home, you've been tested at home, not once, but twice, and you've been negative on both. And if you decided to get your ass here to work next week, you would get tested again here in AEW, because, John, as you know,
right here,
we don't run a sloppy shop.
Oh, shit!
And you see Cage in the background doing shots fired.
Because that was shots fired.
It was.
Because that actually is. Because, as we know, WWE has had an issue with a an outbreak of positive tests at the Performance Center. I have not heard, and I may be incorrect. And if I am, and I forgot a story, I will absolutely mea culpa that. But I don't believe AEW has had a performer test positive at an event. I I don't. I mean, if they have, I apologize. I'm wrong.
I don't know. I haven't heard
But
anything.
I don't think they've had anybody test positive because they were active ahead of it. They did not decide that you were not allowed to wear a mask on camera. Anybody in any of the other like every single time you see Billy Gunn on I'm sorry, Billy on camera, he has a mask on. His kid has a mask with him. You're allowed to have a mask on a camera, unlike WWE until just recently decided, oh yeah, maybe we should put masks on since everyone seems to be getting sick and this could shut down our business,
Very
which is already
quickly.
hurting to begin with. Like, they got ahead of it. Unlike the state that they're coming from, they got ahead of it. Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure, I'm just, and to take this whole down the throat thing, we're not going to be able to have anything nice this year, and it's going to be Florida's fault. Baseball's about to not happen. Hockey's about to not happen. And it's because they all went to Florida to train, and Florida can't get their shit together, so we can't have nice things. That's all Florida's fault.
As we usually do, we're going to take a little side street. I don't think there's going to be any kind of sports the rest of this year or even possibly next year.
I don't see how without a widespread vaccine.
Unless they do it without anyone in the stands.
But here's, other countries have been doing it. Like a good chunk of Europe's soccer leagues have gotten back to playing, and they're testing players incredibly intensely. And obviously, if you test positive, they have protocols in fashion, and there are absolutely no fans in attendance. There's ways to do it, but we're so far behind the curve of all the rest of the world that it might be December, January before we get there can actually do that.
Yep, it's going to
be your next pay-per-view with people in the seats might be the Royal Rumble, and that might be an early call.
God, if there's not anyone in the seats at Royal Rumble, it's not even going to be good. Just that, unless they just have no surprise entrance, no nothing special, and it's just whatever. Because that reaction, like Edge returning.
Yeah.
If there was no crowd there for that would have been just nothing.
And and at that point, like, do you get people who say they want to be in a ring with 20 other guys that close?
That's true.
If it's not under control enough where they can't have fans, do you really want to risk it? There's a reason there's been no battle royals since then. Like, an 8-man tag is pushing it.
Very, very pushing it.
So I don't even know where we were. What were we talking about? Oh, right, we were talking about how WWE's gone soft because Taz called them out for their actual reaction to the virus, and they got all hurt about it. And you know what? Fine, let them. I'm honestly like, you're the ones who mismanaged this.
They did. They did very badly.
You blew it. Put your business and your employees at risk. And now, when someone calls you out for it, screw you,
bastards.
To tell me, like, you know what? If this is what the Wednesday Night War is going to sound like, AEW is just leaps and bounds ahead when it comes to ammo. It's not even funny. And in that case, if you let yourself get that outpaced, you deserve to lose.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, but hey, they don't have guys like a character like Bray Wyatt. So, I mean, come on.
They don't. And that's not to say in my criticism there aren't bright spots in the WWE. It's Wyatt and Strowman is a bright spot.
Very bright spot.
And in a couple of weeks we should hopefully see another very bright spot out of their series of cinematic matches.
Because they got Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules.
at the horror show at Extreme Rules. It has officially been changed.
It was?
The entire show is now the horror show at Extreme Rules.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It might have happened last night. I was just reading about that.
Now I'm thrown off.
It makes no sense, but
Extreme Rules, the horror show. I see it. We're live July 19th from the Performance Center. Shocker.
What? Yeah, right. So yeah.
I guess they're gonna do something new. The three faces of Wyatt. Does that sound familiar to you?
A little bit.
Oh,
A little bit.
just trying to take something away from Foley.
Well, I mean, there actually are legitimately, I suppose there are three different phases of Bray Wyatt that I suppose you could.
So we are getting Husky Harris back.
Oh, I guess there are four then, aren't there?
Who are the three?
Wyatt family.
Yeah.
Eater of Worlds.
Oh.
Firefly Funhouse.
I just kind of put the Wyatt family and Eater Worlds kind of like the same character to me.
Yeah, I don't know how you delineate. I mean, unless it's just like the solo part of, unless they want to. I mean, there was the tag team champions thing with Matt Hardy, which was brilliant, by the way. But that's not going to be a thing that comes back. So
I would love to see Husky Harris. I don't know how that would happen, but that'd be great.
How that would work in the whole thing, but we get a match that I mean the match itself has so much potential to be, because we saw what they did with the Firefly Funhouse at WrestleMania and how indifferent that got. That was weird.
I guess it's not a title match.
It is a non-title match. That's the thing. So they're also, I guess, kind of stretching this, so I could see this being a three-match thing, and I can see Wyatt actually on his own turf getting the best of Strowman.
Wyatt's going to win this one.
And then you have all the build up to their SummerSlam match where he actually faces the Fiend for the title, and now you have the Fiend as that seed of doubt that you can continuously plant in the champion's head. And there's so much. You give a guy like Bray Wyatt that kind of base to start working with, and the promos should just be
gold.
Magnificent. Gold, Jerry. They should be gold.
It's gold. The blow off match being at SummerSlam.
Yes. Not necessarily in Boston, but it'll be at SummerSlam. Although I have read that they would be willing to push SummerSlam a month back into September if it means having fans there. But given the current state of things, that seems the near impossibility.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen.
So, yeah, like I said, I think we really should just be prepared for wrestling to be pretty much fanless until
there's a vaccine
next year. Till next year.
It could be even longer. Who knows?
Or vaccine, yeah. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised. Like, just again to go into the weeds, I wouldn't be surprised if we're actually close to a vaccine that proves treatable and actually proves it. But it'll be months before it's widespread enough for everyone to make it worthwhile, or you're wide available. You got to do a lot of production there for 300 million plus doses of vaccine.
Yeah. I'm not surprised people are leaving and running to a different country. Getting out of here.
Yeah, but they're not able to. The other countries are like, no. You stay there. Nope. We do not need your disease-riddled peasantry in our country.
Kairi Sane is probably going back to Japan. That's my...
As far as I understand, she's pretty much gone. That's one of they were conveniently handed an injury where they were able to say to write her off of television, and she's willing to go back. I guess got married back in February. And honestly, is anyone surprised? I'm actually surprised that it's her who left and went home first before Io Shirai, because we'd heard that she had been and it's true, she had been up until up until the virus kind of forced their hand at NXT, she had really just kind of been there spinning her wheels.
Yeah, she was the one-time NXT champion and debuted in April of last year.
Yep.
The main roster.
And had the successful Kabuki Warriors for whatever that's, whatever that's worth. It's still, a one-time women's tag team champion, but not surprised. And,
I mean, that's fine. They're gonna be getting, people who they've let go. WWE let go of all those different wrestlers.
Yeah.
We're gonna be getting probably some more. A big
more cuts
more
or
replacements because WWE probably purchasing Evolve.
You see, I don't. Well, first and foremost, Evolve has next to no women's roster, so they're not going to be getting a whole lot of talent that way. There are a couple people I could see them picking up off of the Evolve roster. I'm honestly not sure if how much, to be fair.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big, like I said, it wasn't a big roster to begin with. It kind of seemed like this was an inevitable thing anyway, since they started working with Evolve, or with the WWE back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That eventually they would probably swallow it up. I mean, maybe I would say you might pick up Andrew Everett. You might pick up Colby Carino, which would be kind of cool since his dad's a producer there. I don't see them giving Evan Bourne another shot at it.
Airborne.
Yeah,
Have him join the New Day in replace of Xavier Woods, who's not there.
If they're smart, they bring up the Bravados, but they're not interested in tag team wrestling, so there's that. Maybe, like I said, AR Fox, maybe? I don't know. It doesn't seem like...
They really bought it just for the acquire the video content, but I'm pretty sure that they'll get a few.
Possibly. If they're smart, they would run it as another developmental territory, and by that I mean a place where you could get a look at people before you sign them into NXT, like a double A level. And if you want people who are in NXT but aren't ready, who are training at the PC but aren't ready for television yet, you're not ready to put them
on
the main, send them to Evolve and let them work and let them hone their craft like, oh my God, you used to do when there were territories everywhere and you could go learn from different places.
Exactly.
So, but it remains to be seen whether they'll even continue to run it. Obviously, Evolve isn't running shows like almost every other indie is right now. So there's no necessary. They don't have to continue it as a brand. They can shutter the promotion. It's up to them. So haven't had any words from that about what they will do in the future.
We were talking about the different ones that were let go. One of them that was let go, I sent you this video of EC3.
Yeah.
And did you listen to it?
I don't like. That man confuses me right now.
He's being advertised for Slammiversary.
But so are a lot of former Impact employees.
And I think TNA is just trolling.
I wonder, and he may be just trolling.
Did you listen to that promo? Did you watch it?
Yeah.
I was gonna play it. There's so many different things he said. I'm like, it's very subtle. I'm like, subtle? Not really subtle. I'm like, it's not subtle. He's just so blatant in the words he's using.
That's the thing. Like, I don't really honestly know what to believe from him. If he's working everybody and is continues just offering his making it clear he's open as a free agent finally. Because he may have finally his non-compete may have just run out within the recent, or is about to. So now he can negotiate with Impact or AEW or New Japan or whoever. So if that's the case, he's doing a good job of selling himself. Or if he has a deal in place to go back to TNA or to Impact.
Because at the very end, he's got an All Elite Wrestling sign on.
Right, and that's why I'm like, what? Like, are you? Is there something there? Like
let me know.
Silence.
I'm going to play a little bit. If you guys listen to this, let me know what you think. of some of the stuff he's saying. I'm only going to play just a little bit of it.
The world tell you what to do. Dictate your path. Choose your fate. Do you decide your future? Or is it chosen for you? We are living in unprecedented times, from lockdowns to quarantine to turmoil in the streets. We are living an American nightmare.
Cody.
From coast to coast, Maine to SoCal, uncensored chaos and confusion reign supreme. You walk outside, it feels like you're in the jungle, boy.
Jungle boy.
You fear the revolt is coming for you if you don't adhere to the groupthink. You feel like you're left out to hang, man.
Hangman Page.
The natural state of things has fallen into this dark order.
Dark order.
And you plug away, day after day, like a gear in an effing machine. Society is broken.
Broken hearted.
Wow.
So there's so many different names he's throwing in this thing, in this promo, that I'm like...
That part of me, it makes me wonder if he's just could then show up at Slammiversary, since he was trolling in one direction. That he may
could be. It could be. He could be. But I was like, are you subtle much there, bud?
No, but he should also know that if this is a way of trying to in open negotiations with Cody, at least if he were to continue those, he would be seen by someone. If he goes back to Impact Wrestling,
no, like 20 people.
It's the old if a tree falls in a forest.
Are you gonna hear it? Probably not. You probably won't hear it at all. Oh man, but we do have a good match coming up for Monday night.
We do. Which, as I saw that, the question is, why do we have that Monday, since you're advertising it for the pay-per-view in 2 weeks from tomorrow? I guess that's not. No, I guess that's not fair. As I was reading it, it's not going to be, because Bayley's defending against Nikki Cross, and Asuka's defending against. Nope, it escaped me. So I guess So there's a possibility. There's definitely a possibility. Want to see and it's weird to say. There's a match on Raw that I want to see, because it hasn't been that way for a while.
Asuka versus Bayley.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Asuka's got Kairi Sane in her corner. It looks like in the picture.
So here may be the angle that writes her off television.
It could be. We'll see. All of a sudden, you'll see Nia Jax come out and just
here. This time, we actually want you to make it look like you killed her. Just don't actually kill her this time.
Can you go ahead and just kill her and send her back?
But please don't actually kill her again.
Don't do it. Oh my gosh. I think we kind of went through all of our topics that quickly.
Apparently, yeah, we ran through everything.
I don't know if I was just going through too quick or what. But we can go ahead and do our top 5 if you want.
But we could do that before we throw that out there. Some unfortunate news, also for the Necro Butcher. If you know anything about East Coast Indies, or
did I miss one? I'm sorry.
Death matches at all there. You know the name Necro Butcher. And this week he made public that he was diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma, which man, that's a rough diagnosis. But at the same time, it's the survival rate somewhere between 75 and 90%, and survive for over 5 years once they get treated. So he doesn't have for this, and just to throw that out there, we wish Dylan Summers well, and hope for a speedy recovery for him.
That sucks. I never wish cancer on anyone. This is not a good thing.
Nope.
We wish him luck
every which way.
Everything.
Every which way. Fuck cancer.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm okay with saying that. So you're gonna get to our top 5 then? Where'd my sheet go?
Yeah, we can give it a shot.
I think we're gonna have at least a couple in here the same.
I don't know, sir.
Really?
Yeah, I do not know. I'm willing, but I would like to be pleasantly surprised. So
I probably won't then. I figured we at
with
least have one.
with that in mind, let's crack the top 5 for the week.
That's our top 5 worst factions.
We delayed this one a week.
It was supposed to be last week, but we did it for the Undertaker.
Yeah, how do you not do something for it in the week that he officially hung him up, as far as we know? So.
I did it for the Undertaker. Sorry.
Thanks, Keish. So let's get started and see if how many of these are actually overlapping. So Jerry, your 5th worst faction of all time.
My number 5 was the League of Nations.
Okay.
Which was Sheamus, Rusev, Wade Barrett, Alberto Del Rio, and however many times they've done this gimmick, because they've done this gimmick so many frickin' times. It's played out.
The TNA had done this gimmick before they did this gimmick.
Because they've done the Un-Americans. They've done all these, like, it's basically the same gimmick, just tweaked, but it's the same shtick.
And the worst part is at least there's so much potential in the talent you put together.
There's some good talent there. Minus Alberto Del Rio because he's a piece of crap.
Except for that human wasteland. But then you did precisely zilch with it. It just kind of was there.
It's kind of crapped out. Dan, what's your number 5?
My number 5? Well, let's send it back to 1997 and the debut of the Truth Commission. Questionable in taste at best, these 4 South African soldiers, read white supremacists, were playing off the actual Truth and Reconciliation Commission, trying to piece South Africa back together at the time, because the WWE is nothing if not always culturally and racially sensitive.
They are?
But at least it brought us Kurgan?
Oh, Kurgan. I remember them.
Yeah.
Not the greatest.
And they actually apparently pulled back from what they were supposed to be a whole lot worse.
Really? How could they be? I guess
have you heard the name Colonel De Beers? Great worker, amazing piece of talent, but whoa boy on the gimmick.
All right, I guess we got to our number 4 now.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4, and I think I've used them for the worst theme song. I think, Right to Censor.
Yeah, I think you did. You did.
I mean, I liked how they. I thought the gimmick was awful, but they played it out well. The people who were in charge of it, Steven Richards, Bull Buchanan, The Godfather, Val Venus, Ivory, the Cat, they all kind of played well together in that character.
I mean, I thought it actually worked out well as a parody and a mid-card heel gimmick, because that was the time where the company felt attacked for all of their all the family groups coming for their content.
Like, what was the one content? It was Trish Stratus dropping her towel and Vince like, "Are you ready for some wrestling?" Mocking
Yes.
the NFL.
There's multiple issues you could point to Vince and Trish going, ooh, that's an interesting thing, considering you're the boss. Like, you hold her neither. Again, the Attitude Era, like the early 2000s, were a completely different time, and a good chunk of WWE programming would not work today.
Ooh. Can we add a piece of paper to the top 5?
A piece of paper?
Another top 5. I have an idea for top 5. Can we add it?
Oh, I suppose
Top
so.
5 questionable Vince McMahon ideas.
Jesus, we would be here all day.
We'll just hold that up for later. That was just a thought.
Keep that in mind, yeah, but we could be here for a while.
All right, are you on your number 4 now, or did you do your number 4?
Oh, no, I didn't do my number 4.
Okay, I didn't think so.
My number 4. Hey, guess what? Remember WCW?
I remember WCW.
So, question: how do you get a group of mid-carders over? Do you let them shine with their in-ring work? Do you present them as credible talents and have them make waves against established stars?
No.
Hell no, not in Vince Russo's WCW. You put them all together in one group, even though they have nothing in common, and you give them the dumbest, most juvenile names you can think of. You make the leader Major Rection. You put him with a porn star, and then do absolutely nothing worthwhile with them, and you have the Misfits in action. Because that's how you do it, Vince. That's good shit.
Such good shit. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, my number 4 is the MIA. Because, oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, I can't even. All right, you're number 4. My number 3.
Yep.
Pete Gas, Rodney, Joey, and Joey Abs. The Mean Street Posse. Only one of them had real professional training, and that was Joey Abs.
That's true. You are correct, sir.
I didn't research on that.
I can understand how a lot of people will be very turned off by this. I completely get it. Believe me.
They were all. You know who they were?
They legit, like, that wasn't really a gimmick. The other two, what was it, Pete Gas and Rodney, were legitimately boyhood friends of Shane McMahon.
Exactly. That's what I was getting ready to say.
And that's how they got on TV. And, like, it was...
Shane, can we have a job, man?
Well, see, it was supposed to just all kind of fit together in that one test you can't marry my sister angle. Because my real brother-in-law drugged her and married her. And, oh my God, there's another thing that should not work. Anyway,
I'm telling you, are you going back to my idea for Vince ideas?
We're doing it. I guess we're just going to keep doing it. Yeah, here, Vince, let me have put your daughter on television getting roofied and married in Vegas. That's after you had her on television about to be crucified in a black mass. Wow, Vince McMahon's a terrible parent. Good Lord.
But Dan, it's such good shit.
No, none of that was, actually. None of that was.
All right, hang on. There's going to be a new segment. We're going to debut it, but it's going to be a segment called Such Good Shit. That's it.
All right, now this I can get behind.
Such
this
Good
is
Shit segment.
This was so much better than my idea of doing a This Day in Wrestling History. Holy shit, let's do that instead. I softened on the Mean Street Posse, and I'll tell you the match they did, because they stuck around longer than they should have, admittedly. They got a check longer than they should have, but WrestleMania 2000, they were just kind of thrown into that hardcore battle royal, and I want to say both Rodney and Pete Gas, like, got tuned up real good, and they both bled buckets. So I'm like, you got to have, all right, you respect them for not being trained, necessarily being trained professional, but going out and getting the crap beat out of them.
Yeah.
On the biggest show of the year. I can respect that.
Can you? Can you respect that?
I did. I just said so.
What's your number 3?
My number 3. Let's see here. Remember what I said a few minutes about how racially sensitive the WWE always is? Because why wouldn't you take 3 Mexican superstars and essentially turn them into landscapers?
I almost picked them!
Yes, Super Crazy Psychosis and Juventud Guerrera.
The Mexicools.
Became the Mexicools, and spent more than a year having their immense talents wasted while walking around in jumpsuits, riding to the ring on lawnmowers. On fucking lawnmowers.
Dan, it's such good shit!
There we go. I'm telling you, we gotta figure it out. We gotta noodle this segment and make this a thing.
I'm doing it. It's gonna happen. Oh my God, I can't even right now.
Which is unfortunate because you still have 2 more to go.
I know. All right, my number 2.
Yes.
Is your favorite? I think your favorite tag team.
Okay.
What was that?
Go on.
I think your favorite tag team. Albert, Just Incredible, and X-Pac.
Factor coming in at number 2, eh?
The X Factor.
Okay.
Just because the song is so crappy and it was an awful idea.
Oh my God, so bad. Oh my God, so bad.
Oh. But Dan, the song, it was such good shit. Let's just record over top of the lyrics, but not get rid of the lyrics.
Not even try. And then the rest of the song makes no sense whatsoever.
Such good shit, Dan.
Why would you do that?
You're number 2.
My number 2? Okay. I can't. I didn't want to add anything else to that one, but
we've already been over the X Factor.
Yes, we have. We've been there to this day. But my number 2, actually, and I can get some pushback here, and I can understand why, and I almost didn't want to include them on this list because they were really good at what they were doing, which is supposed to be annoying ass heels.
If your number 2
That's all they were supposed to do, and that is exactly what they were. So my number 2 definitely would be Kenny, Johnny, Nikki, Mikey, Mitch, the Spirit Squad. They weren't just annoying male cheerleaders. You did not expect that shit, did you?
I didn't expect you to do the intro like that.
But why not? Because that was
such good shit.
Not only did this kill the careers of 4 promising young stars who were taken as annoying heels, thrown into the main events and in what seemed like a real characteristic of Raw with Triple H on top, were then used as nothing but comic fodder for old Generation X. Then they were used up and tossed aside and literally shipped back to OVW.
Yeah, they literally threw them in a crate and shipped it.
Threw them in an anvil case and stuck a ship to Louisville OVW sticker on it. Somehow, the fact that Dolph Ziggler even survived that stable is incredible. But
if you don't know, that was Nikki.
At the same time, he's kind of had an uphill battle his entire freaking career in the company, so maybe he didn't quite. He's never escaped the scars of that stable.
And that's your number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have honorable mentions?
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my number 1, then you can do your honorable mentions.
Okay.
My number 1 was Kenny, Mikey, Johnny, Mitch, and Nikki. So, if we can go and do your honorable mentions. We already went over it.
So, there we go. We actually have some overlap.
We do.
But going into
I was another one. I was wavering on number spot 2 and 1.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I was wavering on where to put each one of those, but I was like, I stuck where I did.
There you go. All right. A couple of things that just made the list. They're just mismaking the list. Yo, you dealing with the X Factor. Worst entrance theme ever. Of all time. They didn't really get a chance to do anything with the randomly thrown together group. Also, all of Heath Slater's stables that weren't the Nexus. The 3-man band, The Core.
3-man band, baby.
Poor guy couldn't get a break when it came to the stables he was placed in.
He's got kids, man.
He's got kids. Because whatever. Also in a group paired together, Los Boricuas and the Disciples of Apocalypse, a pair of casualties of the short-lived gang rules era, and what do you know? A white biker gang and a Latino gang forced to go head-to-head, again, with the racially sensitive history of the WWE.
Shocker.
And here's one, and I completely forgot this was a thing until I was doing research for this list. This was real. This was on television. The Old Age Outlaws.
Yep.
Another WCW stroke of genius in the year 2000. Let's just take the oldest guys we got in the company. Arn Anderson, Terry Funk, Larry Zbyszko, Paul Orndorff, and throw them all together because, they're old.
They're old.
As much as Vince Russo should be applauded for his time as a booker and trying to give everyone on the roster something to do, which was new at the time. Was this the revolutionary idea he had? When there was no filter on him, he booked the Old Age Outlaws. He booked Judy Bagwell on a pole. He booked David fucking Arquette to win the goddamn world championship. I defy you to show me the genius of this bastard. But he has nothing to do with my number 1 worst stable of all time. He was nowhere near this dumpster fire when it happened.
Oh, no.
Nowhere near it.
All right, Dan, what is your number one?
Because the worst wrestling stable of all time was the Dungeon of Doom.
The Dungeon of Doom.
I know it feels like I'm just dumping on WCW here, and I probably could have done the entire list because it didn't seem like they had the NWO, and then once they ruined it, they could not put a stable together. Oh, the West Texas Outlaws. That was or West Texas Rednecks. That was a great stable that I got missed. But man, this was epic levels of bad, and its only reason for existing was to try to get Hulk Hogan over with an audience who didn't want to see him slay cartoon monsters in the first place. Kevin Sullivan's full turn to madness begat us Ming in a gold lion helmet. John Tenta remade his ridiculous shark with face paint and all. Brutus Beefcake with ridiculous face paint, his like fourth gimmick with the company in his under 2 years there is the Zodiac. Bringing back Tiny Lister as Z Gangsta because they couldn't call him Zeus. And the final solution, Ultimate Solution. Yeah, that happened. That was a thing. They put a guy on television to call him the Final Solution. And then someone had to tell them why. That was a very bad choice of words. Yeah. Their quest to destroy Hulkamania then culminated in one of the worst matches of all time, the Tower of Doom Steel Cage match at Uncensored 96, where Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage made eight of the biggest heels in your company look like utter pushovers.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they walked through them. And it ended with a pair of shots with a frying pan. A frying pan.
Not the mama. Sorry, that's all I think of.
You're not wrong. And if it wasn't bad enough, this whole thing continued through the era of the NWO and even got a reboot in 1996. Because in the time when you're running the most cutting-edge angle seen in American wrestling, the group of Saturday morning cartoon villains was the one that needed the time to be rebooted. Just a reminder, WCW ruined everything.
They did.
What did they ruin? Everything.
Everything.
So, surprisingly enough, when I said, I don't know if we have the same, we only have one crossover. That's impressive.
That is good. So that was our top 5. Did we get a message from Zach at all?
Oh yeah, we did. Let's and let me go ahead and actually read his full response into it. So before I do that, who are you going with? The champs or the challengers?
Champs.
The
Sorry.
champs to
So we're doing our pick. Since we're not doing the John Moxley Brian Cage match, we're doing the Kenny Omega Adam Page versus Private Party match instead, just so we have one more in here. So
I will concur with the champs to retain, and the message I got back for that, because not only did he give me a pick, he justified it. So I'll go ahead and just read the message I got back. So he said that, I love the push the party has gotten, but it's not quite up to the level of straps yet. The build-up seems to be an FTR reign, which will free up Page and Omega to have a long-awaited singles program. Completely agree. Plus, it legitimizes FTR's run by beating top men. They in fact are top guys to earn the gold in the first place. I predict a really great false finish near the go home, but ultimately the Private Party will fall into absolute dandy. So it sounds like we are all in
with
agreement. The tag straps are staying there,
yep.
So that one time down the line, Dax and Cash can take them off of Omega and Page, and then we finally have Hangman and the Cleaner, which could be a year of amazing matches.
I like it. So we all are equal there. Let's take a look. Let's just take a look at what's coming up for this Wednesday. We've got that match. We all have Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Both me and you have no, you're the only one that has Orange Cassidy. Me and Zach
I'm
have
the only
Chris
one.
Jericho.
Yep, I'm the only one that has Orange Cassidy in this whole thing.
So we all have Lance Archer versus.
Yes.
We all get a +1 on the Nyla Rose match because we can't pick if we don't know who she's fighting.
Nope.
So we all got a +1 there.
Yep.
Colt Cabana and Dark Order versus SoCal Uncensored, which was another name that was mentioned in EC3's thing, is SoCal Uncensored.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You are the other one who took SoCal Uncensored.
Yep. Because I'm not quite there that Colt is with the Dark Order.
And FTR and the Young Bucks versus the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers.
Match of the night. I'm gonna say it, even though there's some great stuff there. Match of the night, right there.
We are all taking FTR
and the Bucks.
So the only matches that will do anything is the Colt Cabana match.
So basically, I'm the one that's put my neck out on this at all.
Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. I'm the only one that's bucking the trends. Everything else is they. So
here's the thing: if Orange Cassidy loses, or if SoCal loses, I retain.
I'm out.
I retain.
Yes, that would be the case, which would be your second retention via draw, which means if we were to draw at the horror show.
Wait, how would it be a draw?
Because if either of those lose, you're gonna. Oh, that's right. I guess that's true. I guess Zach is back.
I would be one up. Zach is behind us by one. So
okay, that breaks the streak. That's right. I forgot that. Okay, so yes. So I'm putting my balls on the line on this one.
You are.
So let me, Colt. Don't.
Right there.
I love
it's
you,
all.
buddy.
It's all for that. It's all for that right there, people. It's all for that. Right there.
We got to do something about that. We got to make it our own a little bit, you know.
Let's work on that.
Let's do that. Also, if you're then going to watch that live, go ahead and DVR the Great American Bash Night 2, which there's not a whole lot on the. There's not a whole lot guaranteed or already on the cards for this, which also means that hopefully the main event is going to take up a good chunk of the show.
Yeah.
As Breezango and Drake Maverick take on El Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza in a six-man tag. Mia Yim and Candice LeRae square off in a street fight, and then the winner-take-all match for the NXT Championship and the NXT North American Championship as Adam Cole. Can't give any better for that. Takes on Keith Lee.
I wasn't even doing it. I mean, no, I was actually gonna say who won. Whoops, glad I didn't do it.
Say, we're better than that. Even though our jobs don't depend on it.
They don't. They don't depend on anything.
Yeah,
they can kiss my ass. I could tell you right now. I could tell you who wins.
No, watch the match.
But I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna make you actually watch some wrestling.
Actually, watch some wrestling to figure out what it was.
And you know what? Maybe next weekend our podcast may look a little different.
Possibly. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, so I'm just going to play along.
I'm going to leave it there, and you'll find out.
That'll make two of us. This should be fun, and if we're lucky, that'll be some good shit.
It'll be such good shit, Dan. It's got to happen. All right, thank you guys for joining us. That's another Finisher podcast right here on our Facebook page, and soon be over on our all the podcast locations where you can find us. If you want to know where you can get a hold of us, how to get a hold of us, head over to thefinisherpodcast.com. You can find all of our social and links to our podcast locations there. So make sure you check us out. Give us a like, give us a follow, and join us next week right here on Facebook for another Finisher podcast. And is there a pay-per-view next week?
God damn it! I looked at the calendar. Is next week already the horror show at Extreme Rules?
Next week is the week of the 10th.
Next week is the 12th.
The 12th. No, it's the 19th. So
we got another week in there.
2 weeks. All right, we're good.
Yes.
So then we will see you guys right here next Saturday for another podcast of The Finisher Podcast. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.